Some people don't get it. Love is not enough. And what I mean by that, love is not enough to start a relationship. A long-lasting relationship. You know, you can start a courtship or whatever in the process, but you gotta see if the person is not spiritually mature enough, mentally mature enough, financially mature enough, you're gonna have some struggles and some problems. This thing is going to not just be a challenge to them, but it's gonna be a challenge to you. And you're gonna find yourself having to, I guess, almost babysit them in the process of moving forward. And that in itself is gonna be stressful. Do you really have the time and want to put forth the effort to do that? Something to consider. You know, I don't know. When I go back to my high school days and stuff like that, I could look at my relationship, and I had a girlfriend, which is now my wife, who was ready to go off to college, and I didn't have any goals. I didn't even expect to live past 18, so my maturity was not there. My responsibility, you know, for myself was, you know, just getting on me, you know, getting around 18, and, you know, my mama saying you got to do for you, but I definitely wasn't prepared to do for, you know, a wife and children. So many people get into the 18s and, you know, 19s, and now they got to have responsibility for children. Not even a spouse, but children. And that is overwhelming. You know, this is the time of having fun and, you know, want to do stuff. This is the time where you finally start making money and want to do stuff that you want to do. But if you got responsibilities, that's where your priorities need to be at. But man, can't focus on your wants when you got priorities. That baby in diapers and formula, that's first. So it's like, man, do you want to be with somebody who's thinking about themselves and create a child when their selfish mode is full of steam? You know, that they going head first towards being selfish, and you want them to be about you. You want them to be about their child. A lot of people that started off as what you could call deadbeats, you know, yeah, when they matured, they got better at it. So maybe they second set of children or whatever, you know, they did better. But you had all of the evidence before you that they were about themselves, and people don't take heed to that. Sometimes everything about a person tells you to run. Man, they may be fun to hang out with and stuff like that, but man, when it comes to the responsibilities or them trying to be goal-oriented, it's obviously that they don't have that. They don't have it. And you don't want to get connected to somebody and be stuck because they have a self-orientation rather than, you know, I'm going to take care of us. It's hard to tell people about that. Sometimes you have to have a first-hand experience to deal with that. And that first-hand experience get to whooping your tail. One thing, you know, as a father, you know, you should know your children. Sometimes in dealing with your own children, you know, the people that's dealing with them be looking at you like, you know, help me. And it's like, this probably ain't where you need to be at. And they don't want to hear that. You know your child is selfish. You know your child has bad behaviors and stuff like that, you know, but you don't want to speak negatively about your child. You can be proud of your child where they at, but a lot of times people know my child ain't where they need to be. Me dealing with young folks and stuff like that, I see a lot of young folks that don't have it where they need to be. they very sensitive when it comes to their emotions, and a lot of times their emotions have them in anger, have them doing stuff that, you know, show that they ain't ready for life. And they don't really count the cost of what they're doing until they've already done it. Now they got to deal with the consequences, you know, and sometimes consequences could be jail. Sometimes consequences could even be them almost losing their life. They don't consider that until it's right at that moment, and now they crying and they breaking down, and it's like, your decision is what got you here. And people were warning you, but you thought, oh, I got so much time to get it right. When it comes back to love, everybody that you want to love, some people ain't built for relationships. They're not built for it. That's not something that they can be responsible with. They can get in there and be a good time for the moment, but when it comes to the longevity thing, that ain't them. Because selfishness is going to always win when it comes to them. They're going to abandon responsibilities and take care of themselves. And you should see who they are before you see who they are. And some people, they don't take heed to warnings. All right, shalom.